Joining me next is Best of the Web columnist James Taranto to talk about the presidential race. Welcome, James.
Thanks, good to be here.
So today you write about what you call a silly debate over whether the November election will be a choice or a referendum. What do you mean by that?
Well, this got started when William Galston of the Brookings Institution wrote in the New Republic that one of the reasons this year will be different and harder for President Obama than 2008 was is because this will be as he put it, a referendum rather than a choice. He wrote, one of the best established findings of contemporary political science is that in presidential contests involving an incumbent, the incumbent's record is central to the public's judgment. It seems like kind of a truism, but it actually upset a number of other liberal commentators, including Joe Klein of Time magazine and Ed Kilgore, also of the New Republic.
And what was their problem with this?
Their objection was, no, this is not just a referendum. Presidential elections aren't just a referendum. There are two candidates. This is a choice. Well, again, it's kind of obvious, right? I mean, the last time there was a presidential campaign with only one candidate was 1820 when James Monroe was elected almost unanimously. John Quincy Adams got one vote. So, you know, okay, as a formal matter, it is a choice. But as a substantive matter, it's a referendum in the sense that people are deciding whether to give the incumbent a second term.
But on some level, can a sitting president running for re-election try and make it all about the other guy, try and make it all about the other side, or sort of scare people into saying, don't look at my record, I just want you to know that they will be much, much worse?
Well, this is what the choice argument is all about. When guys like Kilgore and Klein say this is going to be a referendum, not a choice, what they're saying is, if it's a referendum, Obama can't win. He doesn't have a decent record to run on. And the polls, by the way, bear that out. We've had the first 2 days of Gallup's tracking polls. He starts at 45%, goes down to 43%. Romney is not at 50%, but he has a lead of 2% and then up to 5% today. So the idea is you beat Romney by beating up on Romney. And that's what these guys are arguing for. They're arguing for a vicious negative campaign. The precedent they cite, which actually our friend Ramesh, who was in the previous segment, cited in a column some months ago, is the 2004 campaign, where the campaign was waged in large part against John Kerry. Now, remember, the left thinks that Kerry was really treated badly in that campaign. They think that he was smeared, that he really was a war hero. They also forget that there was an effort to smear President Bush that actually involved the use of fraudulent documents. And we learn now that John Kerry actually was egging that on. He got one of the sources CBS had been pursuing on that to finally cooperate with CBS. But what people like Kilgore and Klein are urging is a campaign that is as nasty as they imagine the Bush campaign against Kerry was, and that has as little regard for the truth as CBS's campaign against Bush did. So this could get very ugly.
Well, that's another, I think, typical trope of the left, which is that our guy lost because he wasn't as mean and nasty as the other guy. Back to Obama, however, and the way he's going to run this re-election campaign. It seems like his strategists have been pretty upfront about it. Essentially, they're going to blame everything bad on the economy on his predecessor and take credit for everything that's going right with the economy. But the other argument they seem to make is, I inherited this mess. Things are getting better. Why give the ball back to the other team that got us into this mess in the first place? Doesn't Romney at some point have to be able to push back against that narrative?
Well, to some extent, sure. On the other hand, you know, we talk about the choice versus referendum. In a lot of ways, Obama in 2008 ran that campaign, even though there was an incumbent running, as a referendum on George W. Bush and the Republicans. I'm not sure you can do that after 4 years in office. And there was this great quote from David Axelrod, Obama's advisor, on Fox News Sunday over the weekend. He said, quote, "The choice in this election is between an economy that produces a growing middle class and gives people a chance to get ahead and their kids a chance to get ahead, and an economy that continues down the road we are on." Well, that's actually an argument against the incumbent, isn't it?